today on YouTube and all. And this last video for tonight that I wanted to do is about Fantasia Barrino, her dad, and her husband, Kendall. Now, if you don't know, Fantasia dad, okay, well, let's start from the beginning. Fantasia and her husband, because her husband is her manager, she had a performance, I believe it was in my new hometown, Houston, Texas, on Valentine's Day, and Kendall decided to propose to her on stage in front of everyone. And so I thought it was pretty strange that they had been together for some time and this her husband is proposing to her on stage on Valentine's Day. So think about that for a minute. Her husband, this Fantasia's husband, is proposing to her on stage in front of everyone. Okay? So you already know she's probably feeling real giddy, real excited. It's Valentine's Day, okay? It's Valentine's Day. It's her husband. He's proposing to her on stage in front of everyone for the whole world to see. He's professing his love to her. And then the next thing you know, I believe the next day, her dad, Fantasia's dad, did a social media post saying that he has proof, allegedly, that Kendall has been stealing money from Fantasia's business. So then Kendall did a live just recently and he stated that he works for Fantasia and that he gets paid from he gets paid from the business as well. And while he was doing his what would I call that? While he was telling his side, which he didn't have to tell, I thought that was strange that he even came out and said something or responded, but he did, and I'm gonna go into why I believe he responded. But when he did his response on social media, he said that so when he said, so when I take, and then he stopped. And it was like, so you said you get paid and now you're saying when you take, but then you didn't finish it. So it made me feel like, okay, did he take some money? Is he admitting, or was he about to admit that he actually takes money, but he didn't finish the sentence? But I feel like his ego was, getting a little, his ego was growing at the time. So, but he caught himself. Thank you guys for joining my live stream here. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel here. I'm talking about Fantasia Barrino, her husband, and her dad, that whole situation. And I'm gonna get into why I'm bringing that up, because I didn't want to post on this, but I watched the video of the husband with his response, and I thought it was crazy because I was like, why is he responding to the dad? Because I'm thinking, I've never heard anything from this man, Kendall, that is, right? He's been with Fantasia for 11 years, I believe. He just recently proposed to her again on stage, he upgraded her ring that he gave to her, which was very strange to me. And if you don't know, Snoop Dogg actually, I don't know if he reproposed or on him and his wife's anniversary, he gave his wife 3 wedding rings. And that was just this year. So I believe Kendall may have seen that. I don't know. I'm assuming Kendall probably saw that and said, ooh, you know what? I'm going to do that to my wife. I'm going to do that for my wife, just to make her feel good or to try to make up for some wrong that he's doing. I don't know. I'm going to get into it why I feel the way I feel about this, right? So anyway, so Kendall did a response to the dad, acting very calm, but his demeanor and the words that he was saying didn't really seem so calm, right? So what he was saying is almost like he was boosting his ego up. the more he was talking. The more he was talking, his ego was growing and growing and growing. First of all, he said, first of all, he did a video, which I felt like that wasn't even necessary. This is Family Matters. So if you want to, if my family member come out and say something, what I'm gonna do is not respond to them on social media, because unless I want some attention. Because I do believe for celebrities, bad attention is even good for celebrities. Them having bad attention, good attention, it doesn't even matter. All of it is good for publicity. So Fantasia is one that stays real private. And I wonder if she was aware that he was going to do this video in response to her dad, because to me, it felt like it was just unnecessary. Y'all get those likes up, okay? I see it's 15 people on here. Get those likes up and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I talk about everything, celebrity gossip, news, everything. I get into it all. So anyway, so he's on there and he's saying how he feels, and he's talking about first how he's a man of God, the Bible this and Christian that. And then the more he talks is like he's boosting his ego, because he's like, it seemed like a calm confrontation with the dad, with Fantasia's dad. And to me, it's like, why would you do that? And then he starts saying how he was there for Fantasia when she was having money problems, and he was there for her to help her figure out her business, which is what he's supposed to do as her husband. Like, isn't that just what you're supposed to do? Whether her dad is there or not, let's say her dad was there the whole time. It's not her dad's. It's not for her dad to make sure her business is in order. It's your job, because you're her manager. Her dad doesn't work for her. So why would it be her dad's responsibility to make sure her books are in order? I felt some type of way about that. And I know Fantasia has a type, because every time you see Fantasia with the guy, ever since after she was messing with Young Dro is dark skinned, super dark skinned, player type, probably never get married, always want to be a player, maybe even undercover DL because he is in Atlanta. I don't know. That's just my speculation, allegedly. But ever since she dated him, it seems like her type has been light skin. So Kendall is light skinned. He is her type. That's the type that she always chooses, a handsome guy. And I'm saying that because as a woman, I know how women have a type. I used to be like that. He had to be 6'3" or taller for me. That was my type. If he didn't even have to have a job, okay? It's crazy. But back in the day, I used to think like that. In my younger years, he had to be tall. If he wasn't tall, I couldn't mess with him. I couldn't be seen with him, nothing. I didn't even want to be bothered. Like I said, he didn't even have to have a job, okay? Like, he just had to be tall. That was my type. And I know women who said the same thing. They were like, they like light-skinned guys. He got to be light-skinned. He can't be dark-skinned. I know women who said they like dark-skinned guys. He can't be light-skinned. He got to be dark-skinned. Don't matter how tall or short he is. He just got to be. So I know how women think when they think like that. They like their type. And if their type acts right, then he's going to be good. Think about Candy Burrs and Todd. Now, when she met Todd worked on the show. He was a director of some sort, maybe a director's assistant or something. I don't know. I don't believe he was a major director or a major cast, not cast, but part of the background. I don't think he was no one like of management, but I believe he probably saw his opportunity. I remember when Housewives of Atlanta first came out, I watched it from the beginning up until Nene left, and then I was just done with the show because to me, Nene was the star of the show. So if I wasn't watching Nene, it wasn't no reason to watch it, right? So that's just me. I know some people were Kenya fans, but I was a Nene fan. But I remember watching the show and looking at these ladies and seeing how desperate they were to be with a man or to be with their man. Like I remember when Portia got on the show and she was with the first husband, and he just seemed to treat her like a child and pretty much put her down. He didn't like say things to put her down on the show, but you could just tell something wasn't right with them two as a couple. And then the next thing you know, they end up separating, and rumors came out that he may be suspect, which is probably why he would lose a beautiful woman like that in the first place, because he don't like women. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just giving my opinion. But because Portia was like willing to do whatever, like it's no telling, whatever. She was like, when she first came on the show, she was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna be with my man, and whatever he wants to do, I'm gonna do it, and I'll cook and I'll clean and I'll do whatever he needs me to do." And beautiful girl and everything, right? So I was just like, why he act like this girl is just not on his level? And then next season they end up separating and getting a divorce and all. But anyway, I believe she had an NDA for him as well. So ain't no telling but what was really going on. But anyway, so I remember when Candy came on the show, it seemed like they kept saying, well, Candy, you have a man, when you gonna find a man? And it was like building up for Candy to have a man, because before she got on the show, she was engaged to this guy, and he got in a car accident, I believe. I'm not quite sure, this is alleged, but the guy passed away, and so her whole world was torn. Then she ended up getting on the show, and then everybody was like, well, Candy needs a man, we gotta hook Candy up with someone. And then she went on this Africa trip. This how game is played right here. And I'm 43 years old. So I see game when other people can't see it. It's like it's right there in your face. Like you can't see it. How can you not see it? But anyway, so they went to Africa. And if you don't know, I know, but a lot of times women will go on a trip to Africa and they'll get a spiritual reading. And they'll get a spiritual reading from whatever this person calls themselves, a psychic or whatever. And while Candy was on this trip, it's real strange to me. I feel like this was scripted. And I do believe that the reality shows, I do believe they play into acting or putting things together, whether the cast member knows it or not, just for views and for people to watch. So I really feel like someone pushed Todd up to like be with Candy or present himself to Candy, because this African voodoo priestess, he shook his little bones, he had on his whole ritualistic thing, they were all in a circle, the whole cast was all in a circle, and he was reading everyone, right? And he was like on point. It was like he watched the show or something, right? But anyway, when he came to Candy, he said that her husband was with her, and that he said that she was going to get married and her husband was with her. And everybody, all the women were like, what is he talking about? Like, her husband is with her, she doesn't have a man. Everyone was thinking it, because I was thinking it too. Next thing you know, and I'm not sure if it was the next season or what, but soon after, And that probably was the end of that season. I'm just thinking that because that was something big to have an African priestess do a reading on all of the cast members, right? So next thing you know, they announced that Candy met a guy. And then they said that the guy was a director on the show. And I was like, it makes sense because that's what the voodoo priestess said, right? He said that her man was with her and she was going to get married. Now, everybody knew she wanted to be married because she was engaged to be married. And then her fiance passed away. So, next thing you know, Candy gets with Todd. Her and Todd are together. Everything looks wonderful. And then they start talking about her business and her, Candy has like 100 million businesses that she loves to start. And then her mom starts saying, she feels like Todd is a opportunist. And I was thinking that Todd was probably a plant. But I guess opportunist plant would be pretty much like the same thing, right? So I'm getting somewhere with this Fantasia thing, but just follow me here. So Candy's mom is the whole show. I forgot what her name is. Mama something, I forgot. Anyway, she was dead on. She said she believed he's an opportunist. Next thing you know, Candy talking about getting married to Todd, and her whole aunt, all her aunts and her mom are like, you don't need to marry him. Don't marry him. And Candy said, well, I'm going to marry him, but I'm going to get a prenup, which was the best thing she did, which was the best thing she could do. If you have money or any type of property or anything, the best thing you would be to do for you to save your property and your wealth would be to get a prenup. I mean, just to be honest, I said it before. When I got with my husband, his life insurance policy wasn't in my name. His retirement, his 401k was not in my name when we got married. He passed away and I didn't get access to any of that. And I'm okay with that because I feel like he must have not wanted me to have it. So it's no need to cry over spilled milk. I did enjoy the time that we spent together. Maybe he wanted more time to get things together. I don't know, but he didn't do it. So whatever, it doesn't matter to me. And like I said, I believe in a prenup. If I was in his situation, because my husband was middle class, so he had a little change. He had a great job, great house, great reputation. And he probably didn't want to ruin that if we were not to make it. And I understand that because I know now that if I was to get married again, I would definitely have a prenup. None of my property or wealth would go to my husband. It would go to my children and my grandchildren because that's just how I would want my wealth to be divided if I was not here. Anyway, so Candy did good by doing that. But if you notice, at the end of their relationship, Todd still didn't have his own job. He had a job with the show, but he couldn't work behind the scenes and be her boyfriend. He had to be her boyfriend on camera, which means he had to leave his job that he had behind the scenes, which was crazy to me because it made me feel like they must have signed a contract to get him on the show because they wanted him on the show so bad, which makes me feel like, again, that was a setup. Somebody probably boosted him up. I don't know. I feel like Biggie Smalls and Faith Evans was a setup. I feel like P. Diddy set Faith Evans up to get with Biggie and marry him to get his money. That's what I felt like. I felt like that back then in the 90s when they got together, because I remember when they wasn't together and when they was together, and I never felt like Faith Evans acted like she really liked him. But anyway, I also said that about Mary J. Blige and Kendall. Kendu, I think his name was Kendu. Something about them Kens. Y'all better leave them Kens alone. But Kendu, I felt like P. Diddy set that up because Kendu was a record producer. And he did work close with P. Diddy and Mary J. Blige at the same time. And I feel like that was the setup for her. And you see how he did her, right? She had to end up paying him a whole lot of money on a monthly basis because she didn't get a prenup. Um, Faith Evans, of course, with Biggie, he passed away. She didn't get much, but she did get a good bit of stuff. I think most of his wealth went to his mom, but when his mom passed away, I think it all went to Faith Evans. But because I believe they were still married. Yeah, I believe that made Faith a widow. Um, when it comes to Candy Burris and Todd, you see how Todd is like he wants the children, even though Candy has stated to the court that Todd has been an absent parent. He hasn't even been around. She says he's been on vacation. He hasn't even called the children to check on them. But as soon as they split up, he puts in his documents that he was under distress when he signed the prenup. Why? Who knew he was gonna do that? I knew because when they was going through back and forth, Candy was saying she wanted him to get a prenup, and she was standing on business on that. She was like, "So you gonna sign it or what?" And he was like, "Well, I just feel like money shouldn't be an issue." And he just kept saying that. And I remember on the show he kept saying that, and I kept thinking, "Well, why is he saying money is not an issue when he ain't got no money?" Okay, she got the money. So what are you saying, dude? Like, of course your money ain't an issue because you don't have any. It seemed like game was trying to be played there, and Candy didn't take. She didn't go for it, which thankfully she didn't go for it. And now they're back and forth in court. He asks for custody for the children. He asks for a monetary amount of money each month. What do you call that? Spousal support. He said that the prenup was signed while he was in distress. He just did everything he could trying to get some of her money at the end because that man ain't really care about Candy. He saw that as an opportunity to live a better life, to get connections, and I bet everything that he planned worked out except for the part of him getting some of Candy's money. Now, with Fantasia, if you don't remember, before Fantasia got with Kendall, or correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't did my research, but I remember Fantasia being with the light-skinned guy, and I thought that guy was a teacher, but I could be wrong. Fantasia got with a guy. He had a wife. The wife sued her because in the state of North Carolina, you can sue the girlfriend for like taking your man or something. I believe Nene Leakes went through the same thing with that African guy. I believe his wife attempted to sue her as well for taking her husband. And that's an actual thing that you can be sued by the wife in certain states, and that wife can win her case. I remember someone who's not a celebrity, some woman, she sued this woman for taking her man, and she ended up winning the lawsuit, and then she had took all the woman's money, or took a big chunk of the woman's money, because they used to be best friends, and then the best friend started sleeping with the husband. She sued them and sued the lady and won, and the lady ended up with the man. She ended up with some money. So yeah, that is a thing that can happen. So you got to be real careful. Also, if you with the man who has child support, back child support if you get married to him. In certain states, your tax refund can be taken for that child support. So you have to be real careful with messing with certain people. But anyway, back to Fantasia. So with Fantasia, she was messing with a guy, and he was married. The wife attempt to sue them, and I'm not sure. I believe the wife didn't win in that case, but I'm not quite sure. I didn't really follow up on it. But I'm not sure if Kendall is the same dude. I'm not sure if that's the same guy, because I believe Kendall was locked up for a long time, which explains why he acts so patient, because he was locked up for some years. So he probably learned how to woosah and be real calm. And he probably sat in there and plot on how he was going to, meet a woman and come up. Or he knew, because he's a handsome guy, that he could meet a woman and come up. That was an option for him, I'm pretty sure, because it's an option for a lot of different men. Because nowadays, a lot of women are out here making a lot of money, more money than men are making, and the men are scheming on the women to get their money, or to be taken care of, or just to have a place to stay. Like, think about those men who be with those women around income tax time. They get with a woman, she gets this huge amount of money for income tax time. She buys him his Jordans, she buys him clothing and everything, and the next thing you know, they're not even together anymore. Or you have a woman who, she supports the guy who's locked up, he's in jail. What's up, Dwight? What's going on? How are you? I'm doing great this evening. I hope you are too. Everyone else, make sure, or everyone including Dwight, make sure you give me a thumbs up here on my channel. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. I really would appreciate that. But anyway, so they have the women that stand by their man when they're locked up, and then they're there, they're supporting them, they're putting money on their books, and the next thing you know, the man gets out of jail and then he splits up with the woman, right? So anyway, back to Fantasia. But Fantasia and Kendall, Kendall to me just seems like a player. He seems like a player, y'all. I don't trust him with her. Now, she looks like she's very happy with him. He's a very handsome guy. He's very calm demeanor. You don't hear any news about him except for when the daddy put out there and exposed him of actually stealing funds, allegedly, from Fantasia's business. And he said, y'all pray for my daughter. And he said, because she's been through this with men before. And I could believe it. I've seen it so many times, y'all. Let me tell you, I know of this woman who was messing with this guy, and he was younger than her. And she moved to this different state, and then he came to visit her in the state, and he boosted her head up and told her, oh, we're going to live this wonderful life together. And she was head over heels for him. And we just thought, everything was going to be good. They were going to get married maybe one day, because he just act like he was so into her, y'all. And then why this man left, he said he made up one day. He said, because he was supposed to stay 2 weeks to come visit her when he came to visit her, but he only ended up staying a week. And he told us, he said his mom was not feeling well, and he had to go back home to make sure she was okay. He was going to check on her, and then he was going to come back. So why I got a feeling, I was like, that man ain't coming back. Like, something just told me, he's lying. He's lying. So he done boost her head up, got her feeling all happy and loved. He all around us. We just happy for her, right? We like, oh, they look beautiful together. We just feel so good that they're together. And this man left. And I think he left that night. and she never heard from him again, never seen him again, couldn't get access to any of his social media stuff at the time. This was before YouTube was popping. I'm saying the YouTube. Of course, this was way before YouTube was a huge thing in my life anyway. And before like Instagram. Was this before? Yeah, this was way before Instagram and all that. But anyway, this was around the time when what was going on? What was the social media thing? MySpace. She didn't have access to his MySpace anymore. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. That was the first time I witnessed my day was great, Dwight. That was the first time I witnessed a man actually playing a woman and like it ruining her life, right? Because after that, she just wasn't right anymore. It was like all the life was drained out of her. There was another situation with this woman that I know. She was messing with this guy, and both of these men were light skinned. And that's not just to say that light skinned men do this, because that is not true. But it just happened to be what the circumstance was, and it wasn't me. But these were women that were close to me who I had to watch go through this type of stuff, right? So this one woman, she was with this light skinned guy. She was in love with him before they actually got together. They were friends before, and she wanted to be in a relationship with him. So they end up getting in a relationship. Come to find out, he wasn't working. She thought he was working, had this very fancy job because he had this very fancy car. And come to find out, he didn't have a job at all. And I believe his mother was helping him with the car payment and auto insurance for his car. So she got with this man. She's spending all her money on everything. He wanted to move into this bigger house. So when she got her income tax money, she used all of her refund to get this big 5-bedroom house for this guy. Now, mind you, it's just them two and her son. And she went and got this 5-bedroom house that he wanted. And she put all this money up. I think like it was like between $5,000 or $7,000 for this house to like rent to own this house, which I really feel like that probably was some type of scam. She probably gave him the money, and he probably, because you don't have, I don't know. I don't know. It was a rent to own house. I never rent to own, so I don't know how that process worked with the deposit. But she gave this man all that money. They stayed in the house probably 2 months, and she couldn't afford to pay for the house anymore because he wasn't working. Of course, she was just working. Her bills wouldn't handle everything. And then, excuse me, and then they start staying like in a hotel. And then I guess he couldn't take it anymore because he wasn't contributing. The whole time she's still working, right? And so he ended up losing his car. Oh, no, they kept his car. She ended up losing her car, right? And then eventually he ended up leaving her. But I'm just saying this to say that these are some different times. These are some very different times. There was a time where you could depend on a man to be that protector and provider, but things don't happen like that anymore. And then at the same time, you know, because of the money situation, men are not making the type of money that, or not able to make the same type of money that women are actually making. And then you hear a lot, me being a single woman, I hear a lot about how a man say, oh, these women are too independent, but yet they're not making any money to support a household. So you want me to let you run my household and you don't even make the money to support my household? Like, what does that look like? For real, for real. What is that about? I don't mean to offend anyone or step on anyone's feet or shoes, but that sounds like craziness. Okay. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. There are situations where women will take advantage of a man, you know, and use him for everything he have. You know, I, it goes both ways. It does. But this conversation is about men who take advantage of women. Okay, because it's a big thing, and I see it in the celebrities. Like they feel like they have to have a man around whether he's doing what he needs to do as a provider, protector, or whatever his role is in her life or not. And I'm thinking about Rihanna and ASAP Rocky as well. Now, Rihanna is supposedly a billionaire, right? ASAP Rocky is not a billionaire. Rihanna was with a billionaire before she got with ASAP Rocky, so both of them were billionaires, and then that relationship ended for whatever reason. I don't know. But then she got with ASAP Rocky, and then he had this court mess going on, and she probably, I don't know, but she probably invested a lot of money into his lawyers and everything to help him get out of that situation. And then she had children by him, and it's like, girl, why is that the man you chose? Like you got it going on over here in life, and then you have children by him. I would have had my children by the billionaire. But I don't know. It just seems real strange because I don't believe that guy is straight. I don't care what no one says. ASAP Rocky looks like he's part of the rainbow community to me. So for her to have children with him, and I don't know if she put any money on his books or anything or towards his lawyer fees, but just don't make sense to me. I'm saying all this to say that women, you got to be careful. I think about the Dwight Howard and Amy Luciani or whatever, Luciani situation. Beautiful woman, but I bet you she has a hard time finding men. Then she gets with Dwight Howard, he marries her, and she feels like she got to stay stuck in this relationship, probably because she know it's hard to find a man. But if the man is gay, what is you holding on to? I don't understand. But I do know that a lot of women, they don't like to be alone. They don't want to be alone. Society makes us feel like we shouldn't be alone as a woman, or like we're not worthy to find a man if we are alone, which is real crazy. But I also feel like it's probably a reverse psychology type of thing to make us accept a man that don't need to be accepted. You don't need to be accepted just to support him in whatever way, because most women are nurturers. We're going to support a man. We could make a man a president. I feel like if I get with a guy, because the only type of guy I would get with is someone who's willing to advance his lifestyle or already is up in status, right? I feel like if I get with a guy like that, he could be president of whatever company he works for messing with me. But some women, they don't do that. You know, they just let a man be them. They just accept them for who they are. They don't try to help them do better in life. They just, I don't know. It's weird. It's crazy. It's like you got to be careful what you get yourself involved in. You know, because it's up to you. It's your choice. You make the choice. So you can't say, "Oh, I did this, that," or he did this or that to me. No, you let him do this or that. So that's just how it is. But yeah, I really feel like a lot of these men are really using these women. They're using them like crazy. They chewing them up and spitting them out. Okay? And I was real surprised to hear how long Fantasia and Kendall had been together. 11 years is very long, very surprising. And at the same time, I wonder if he's gaslighting her because, and she can't see past the calm demeanor and very handsome face, you know. But yeah, it's sad to see. It's really sad to see. Whole thing. I hope everything works out well with them. But I do believe what her dad says. And oh, another thing about that, with him coming out and doing a social media post, responding to her dad, it made me feel like I just read the comments. It made me feel like he was trying to push the dad away. Like him responding to the dad is like an ego thing. Like, oh, you want to man up? I'm a man up. Cause he was like, I don't really know you that well, and you called me pimp or player or some mess, he said, and he was like, yeah, and you didn't even know me like that. And it's like, why are you trying to battle her dad? If her dad feels some type of way, why are you upset? Like, to me, it makes me feel like you should either stand down, speak how you feel to your wife, but not come on social media and approach her dad, because that's her dad. And that's going to cause bad blood if you come out and respond. And he was like, well, you could have just reached out to us, but you could have reached out to him. Okay? Why would you respond to Fantasia's dad on social media? Unless you're trying to make sure that man stays away so you can have all control of her. Oh, it also makes me think about Beyonce and Jay-Z. Remember, Beyonce's dad was her manager as well. Beyonce got with Jay-Z and then got married to Jay-Z, and then her dad was all the way out the picture. Them men have an ego thing going on. They want to be the only man controlling the pockets. Okay? The onlyest man. I just say all this to say that we as people, be careful when you're getting in these relationships. Make sure you get to know yourself more. Make sure you heal yourself. Like, sit back and watch these people. Like, I people watch. Okay? I have a sensing about certain people. Like, I'm weary of people. I don't trust easily, right? It's because like I might even be very freaking friendly. Very friendly. Like, anybody will tell you, if they know me, they know that if I like you, I'm going to be very friendly. But that don't mean that I'm going to give you everything that I have. That don't mean that I'm going to even be honest about whatever it is, whatever information that I'm giving you. Because at the same time, while I'm giving you this friendly demeanor, I'm actually watching you to see how you respond. Because you just got to be careful. What's up, friends? Hello, friends. What's going on? Jamari. At the _ baddest one. What's your question? What? Or you saying I had a serious question? What's up, at Blue? Make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel. Dwight. Yeah, my bestie. Betsy Garage. What's up? You have a question? What's the question, Betsy? Jer Amaya. Brian Rotprof. What? I don't even know what that is. Brian Rott. Christopher Eacher. What's up? What's up? Duval Road. What's up? Roll H. God bless you as well. Obi Thomas. Did you tell me to shut up? Let's see here. Colin, Sito Game, Saito Game. What's up? What's up? Thank you guys for commenting here on my live stream. I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and give me a thumbs up. Why have I been watching this show called Bridgerton? Bridgerton? Yeah, with Queen Charlotte. That show is so good. I remember when it first came out, I was like, I don't want to see that. Like, I'm tired of hearing about it. Like, ugh, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. It's not your mom, nigga. Where your mom at? Yeah, I ain't with the mess, okay? Whose mom is this? Not your mom. Why are you worrying about it? You have options. You can slide, okay? You can scroll, keep scrolling. You don't have to watch. But anyway, so that movie, that TV show, Bridgerton, is so good to me. Oh my goodness. Like, I didn't even realize it was going to be that good. And I'm all late because I just started watching it. But I realized in that show, right? So in that show, it talks about, because it's like, you like the royal times, right? Back in the day, like 1800s. I believe that's 1800s. So in Bridgerton, I guess the storyline is like this. You have, okay, once a woman comes of age, and I don't know what that means exactly because they didn't mention what it means for a woman to come of age. Does she have to have her cycle started? Does she have to be a teenager? I don't know because these girls look very young, but they're not saying how young the girls are. So I'm assuming they're definitely not 18 years old. Anyway, so they prepare these young ladies every season or one season out the year or something like that. And once the girl is ready, then they put her out there and she's like showcased it for whatever man that wants her. It doesn't matter how old the man is. He can be young, he can be old. It doesn't even matter. So the men are in charge, even though really the women should be in charge because the women act brighter than the men, but they have to downplay themselves to hold the man up. It's real crazy, but at the same time, I like the TV show. It's very good. I feel like it's very good. But yeah, so if y'all not watching Bridgerton, y'all need to watch that. It's a great show. I just started season 2 and I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. I never thought I would have liked that show. I remember seeing the commercials and all like, oh, why do they keep showing us? Like, and then, my daughter asked me, she said, yeah, I heard it has a black queen in it. And I was like, yeah, because it was a black queen, Queen Charlotte. She was named after, that's what the state or the city, Charlotte, North Carolina, was named after Queen Charlotte. And I was like, wow, she didn't even know that? We used to live there. And I know I've mentioned that plenty of times, but she probably didn't pay attention because she was younger then when we lived there. But yeah, so there really was a Queen Charlotte, a black queen. And I believe the pictures that I saw, she was way darker than Queen Charlotte that's in the Bridgerton. But I mean, you already know what time it is with that right there, right? But yeah. But yeah, y'all check out that show. Very great show. What's going on? The Real Alchexplex LOL, whatever that means, I don't know. What's going on from Barcelona? Okay. That's what's up. What time is it there? Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, you guys, for watching. I've gotten a big audience tonight. So I see this is like a great time to be on a live. Usually I'm like in the bed at this time of night, but I wanted to do that video. But I'll definitely be back with another video because I want it to stay consistent. Hopefully we get some more info about the lady who bang Rihanna's house. I don't know what other info we could get about that because she is behind bars. But hopefully we'll find out something because I'm just still like, what happened? What would make her do that? But anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for giving me thumbs up on this video. I really, really appreciate it. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, okay? So you can see more videos of me giving my opinion, communicating with the chat, and all that. All right? Thank you guys for watching. Y'all have a good night. Peace.